Seriously, don't send me a therapy bills if this one ruins your childhood. Our kids shows. For many of us growing up, they taught us a lot of things and made us laugh, like Sesame Street or the Care Bears. But sometimes the writers of the show must have ran out of ideas because there have been some disturbing themes included in some of those shows. And if you don't remember them, allow me to remind you. Here are 10 WTF things found in kids' TV shows. Number 10 is Ernie becomes a counting zombie, Sesame Street. The monsters on Sesame Street are lovable creatures, no doubt, but what's the deal with the Count? He's a vampire, so doesn't that mean that he drinks blood? Now you'd think a children's show would never answer such a question, as to not traumatize kids, but during the 914th episode of the show, which aired on May 13th, 1976, they accidentally answered it. In the program, the Count sleeps over at Ernie and Bert's house, taking Bert's bed while Bert sleeps on the couch. The next morning, Bert finds the Count and asks him how he slept, only to have the vampire reply that he had the greatest night, before a zombified Ernie stumbles into the room, counting continuously as if under mind control. That's right, kids, and you're next. Ugh. Now, though the series just wanted to poke fun at how the Count kept him awake, what kids took away was that Ernie had been turned into a zombie vampire. 1, 2, I'm coming for you, children. 3, Number 9 is Henry gets walled in, Thomas the Tank Engine. Hey kids, want to be vain? Well, prepare to be severely punished through imprisonment. Now, such a consequence probably sounds way too cruel, and definitely not what you'd want a child to witness, especially on their favorite television show. But that's just what Shining Time Station, better known as Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, showed in their 3rd episode, The Sad Story of Henry. In the episode, the locomotive with the face Henry becomes worried that the elements will ruin his fresh coat of paint, so he refuses to leave a tunnel. So, in anger, the mayor of the town has the tracks in front of the tunnel lifted and the exit bricked up to keep him in until his mood changes. Hey kids, don't like confined spaces? Then don't take off your parents. Toot, toot. But to really drive it home, the episode ends with Henry looking sad as his paint's ruined away. He's still trapped and his fire's gone out. Nothing like a train with depression to get your day started, huh kids? Number 8 is Mind Pollution, Captain Planet. Already a show with a clear message speaking out against pollution, the cartoon Captain Planet and the Planeteers decided to step outside the norm a bit and take on a more adult topic for its season 2 opener. Airing on September 14th, 1991, Mind Pollution showed the potential consequences of abusing drugs. The episode follows one of the main characters, Linka, as she visits her uncle and cousin, Boris, only to discover Boris had started taking Bliss, a new euphoria drug. After a fight about drugs, Boris slips a pill into Linka's food, and suddenly she's hooked too. The episode ends with Boris smashing through a window and badly injuring himself, before overdosing on the Bliss pills and dying. Devastated, Linka swears to never do drugs, all while kids at home tremble in shock at seeing someone die. Don't worry kids, Captain Planet to the rescue! But first, let me get a quick hit of that. Number 7 is Mr. Nobody Teaches How to Count, Sesame Street. Despite being a kids show, Sesame Street has had its fair share of scary scenes, whether it be in a cartoon or in one of the scenes for that episode. But one clip that truly shook some kids up, and likely some adults as well, was the puppeteering of Mr. Nobody, a floating white face on a black background that taught you how to count while eerie music chiming along in the background played. Mr. Nobody's eyes and mouth were actually white rubber bands, buttons, manipulated to seem like the dark figure was speaking the words that were being said. Hey kids, let's learn how to count! Of course, those words are low and chilling as he demands the viewer counts to 10, after which his eyes and mouth jitter about the screen, clearly unattached and manipulated by human hands in black gloves. The thing is, kids obviously don't know that, and a terrifying face ordering them to count again is all they see. But don't worry, you're never gonna see a terrifying floating face in an educational program again. Right? Number 6 is the tapeworm, Mr. Meaty. Okay, with a show like Mr. Meaty, I can only imagine where this is going. This ridiculous show already had parents refusing to let their kids watch it, even before this scary and gross episode. On the air for only 2 seasons, not surprisingly, Mr. Meaty was a Nickelodeon television show that followed puppet characters Josh and Parker as they lazily worked their jobs at a fictional fast food restaurant. The puppets are super unnerving with a strange plot to add to the creepiness, but in the 6th episode of season 1, aired on October 6, 2006, things got a whole lot worse when Parker eats a raw burger.
Oh, Matt, did he just get a little sick? Did he throw up on the show?
No. He soon after realizes there's a tapeworm living in his stomach, and it takes a fishing rod with a sausage as bait to rip the creature out of him through his mouth. Oh, sorry, just give me a second. Upon seeing it, a man gives them $20 for it, only to let it crawl down his own throat. Let me just remind you, this is a kid's show. What's wrong with these people? Number 5 is Baby Fantasy Sesame Street. Aired as a cartoon cutaway in the 198th episode of Sesame Street on February 10th, 1971, Baby Fantasy was the creation of animators John and Faith Hubley. The short involves a baby playing with a large ball, only to bounce it onto the top of a tall column. Wanting to, get it back, the infant finds a tall ladder and climbs, precariously, up to the top, only to have both the ball and ladder fall to the ground below. Trapped on top of the column, the baby considers jumping, only to realize that that would not end well. At this point, the audience is treated to the startling image of the toddler in several pieces, as if the impact had shattered him. Oh, but it gets worse! As the baby cries for help, a creepy colossal clown walks up, lifts them up, and sets them on the ground before vanishing. Can you tell me how to get off Sesame Street? Number 4 is The Murder, SpongeBob SquarePants. On March 1st, 2002, an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants aired and scared the SquarePants off a number of kids. The episode, entitled Nasty Patty, revolved around a health inspector visiting the restaurant and our heroes, murdering him.
I'm gonna cut you like a fish.
SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs believe the inspector is fake, so they make him a gross burger with hot sauce, toenails, and toilet water. Before he even takes a bite, the inspector accidentally swallows a fly and chokes until he falls unconscious. Believing that they killed him, the two protagonists attempt to bury the body. The inspector then wakes up only to be knocked back unconscious due to another accident. But SpongeBob and Krabs are cleared of all charges when the inspector is finally found alive. But the episode changed how many kids and adults saw the show as a whole.
Remember, kids, bury the body and you'll always get away with it. Oh, crap.
Number 3 is The Apocalypse Dinosaurs. Premiering on ABC on April 26, 1991, Dinosaurs was a family-friendly series starring life-sized puppets that aimed to bring in more kid viewers. But while it succeeded in drawing in a younger audience, the show proceeded to scare the heck out of them. The program centered around a family of different dinosaurs who went about human-like lives while learning moral lessons about values and family. But in a stark contrast, the series finale took things in a horrifying direction when the father, Earl, accidentally brought about the Ice Age and thus the end of the world. The family is last seen huddled together, reassuring each other that no matter what, they're a family, while Earl apologizes for ending the world. Well, nothing like putting the fear of God and death into little tiny minds. It's good for him. Number 2 is The Wicked Witch Visits Sesame Street. In a not-so-sunny day, one of cinema's most evil villains came swooping down on the world's most famous fictional street to scare the crap out of every child watching. On February 10th, 1976, the Wicked Witch of the West appeared on Sesame Street in an episode so terrifying it was literally banned from being rebroadcast. In the program, the witch drops her broom somewhere on Sesame Street and threatens the inhabitants, even saying she'll turn Big Bird into a feather duster if she doesn't get it back. Margaret Hamilton, who played the witch in the 1939 classic film The Wizard of Oz, reprised her role on the show and managed to scare kids so much PBS was inundated with angry letters from parents who claimed their child now refused to watch the show out of fear that the witch would return.
Grover don't like witches. Grover stay in trash can.
And number 1 is Suicide, Tom and Jerry. On November 16th, 1956, MGM Studios released Blue Cat Blues, a cartoon featuring the cat and mouse team, Tom and Jerry. But instead of bringing smiles like previous entries, this episode seemed to bring only misery. After Tom uses every dime he has in an unsuccessful attempt to win back his lady cat, he sits on some train tracks and waits for the end of his life. Watching him, Jerry appreciates how lucky he is in love, only to see his girl with a new husband. Devastated, he joins Tom on the tracks, and we hear a train whistle as it rushes towards them. Oh, but it's just suggesting they died, right? Like they got off the tracks? Nope, that's where the cartoon ends. Though a common rumor claims it's the series finale in the original Tom and Jerry cartoon series, Blue Cat Blues wasn't even the last episode of that year. Still, it's a pretty terrifying way to end an episode for a show marketed to children. Yeah, so anyway, that's also a terrifying way to end an episode. So that was 10 WTF things found in kids' television shows. And if you guys enjoyed this, remember to give it a big thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications by clicking the bell beside the subscribe button so that you never miss a thing, because I release new videos all the time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. I promise it won't be disturbing like these shows. Bye!